Right.
People don't play. If you really win a championship, they're not playing football for the money. All right, when you have an opportunity to ask for the money, you sit down quietly, you listen to them talk, and you ask for the money. That's why I played for so many different teams. I knew my market value, but I was an anomaly. I never pissed off my coaches. Okay, I was into winning games. I think, the games that I played in, I just counted wins and losses. And I'm up around 72% of the games I played in, we won. When I wasn't in there, we lost. So I knew the value to my team, but when you're a lineman, you don't have any exposure, especially when you're an Ivy League graduate. People think this, people think that.
Right.
So I have a little different perspective than a lot of these guys that football's their whole life, and they're in it for a certain period of time. I hope that these guys are more than just football players. They seem to talk a lot about it, but at the same time, you sit back and go, look, you need to think of somebody other than yourself.
Right.
In order to ask for your money, and does that not bother you?
Right.
We all know about certain things. And, there is social injustice, but there's a time and a place for things.
Right.
Okay, because this is about the overall health of your team and the game. All right, and I think right now we're kind of aligning a little too far to the left with some of these guys taking their positions, and the response by the media. And I just think it's a lack of knowledge and respect for the game to a degree. And I think what you're doing is you're seeing a clash down in Jacksonville, old school versus new school.
Right.
Okay? And I just think that the combination is what wins.
Right.
All right, not all old school, not just running the football all day long, and then on the left passing the ball all day long. There's a middle ground, and that's what I'm hoping we can do in this show is a little bit. Is just take some higher-ended thinking and sit here going, okay, I support Jalen Jalen Ramsey, but I don't really don't like the way you went about it.
I agree.
Okay, and I think we can learn from that, and I think there's other ways to get there. So we'll see.
Okay, well, you wanted to talk about baseball, and obviously you're going to get that opportunity to talk about baseball. We talked about how you feel that the rainout helps the Yankees' chances against the Astros. We're turning you into a baseball guy, Mr. Winters.
Yes, well, I will tell you this right now. Tanaka gives really heavy-hitting teams a hard time because he throws a lot of off-speed stuff, a lot of breaking stuff, and the Astros are real good at hitting pitchers that throw gas. All right, so they'll be able to get him back in the rotation. So this was going to be a bullpen game for the Yankees. So that rain was huge for them. So I think that's going to help them. I still like the Astros in the series, but I think that this is going to take it out to 6 or 7 games because of that rain out. And, I think that only helps the Yankees as far as the rain's concerned. That rain out was huge for them. And also, I will say this, just like football, baseball is a game of rhythm. And sometimes, the Astros came up there and they're hot. Look at the Nationals. They're really, really hot. One of the things I'm concerned about is the Nationals. They're going to have too many days off while the Yankees and Astros go at it. So they may lose their edge, waiting to play, a game that's going to may take another week to play. So, then, whoever they play comes in, maybe from a game 7 and has got the rhythm. And, they wind up beating the Nets. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. So I just think that, there was a little bit of an act of God that there was some rain up there where they had to postpone the game because the Yankees are able to reset the button and maybe slow down the Astros' rhythm.
Well, I hate to say this, but I'm going to do it anyways. The Detroit Tigers, when they took on the St. Louis Cardinals a few years back, had too many days off, and it did disrupt things, and all of a sudden the Cardinals wiped them out in 5. So you're right, there is a precedent for that sort of thing. And then they got swept by the Giants in 4 games when they were there again because they probably had too much time off. And the one thing about baseball, it's a game based on timing and rhythm, and you don't really want to get out of your routine for an extended period of time.
Especially if you're a pitcher or a batter.
Oh, no, you're right. You're really right. I mean, it's one thing, and the way the game has just changed, like it has, to me, it's just unreal. It just is. I mean, now complete games were the norm when we were doing this, and now all of a sudden guys are limited to pitch counts. In fact, On last night's show, we talked about a few years ago, I think it was 2012, that Steven Strasburg got shut down with only so many innings, couldn't pitch in the postseason, and now here's a guy that is pitching deep in the postseason, so it makes you wonder what the Nationals could have done then. But the fact of the matter is, when you look at the fact that the Nationals are in the World Series, that means there's only one team ever that's never been in the World Series, and it's the Seattle Mariners. Unbelievable that the only team that's never been to a World Series. Did you know that?
Yes, Scott. I'm always learning from you.
You're always learning from me. Yeah, I mean, are there any other football things that you'd like to talk about? I'm going to leave it wide open for you to come up with stuff.
Well, I will tell you this. I was watching this college game tonight, and I remember when I was a coach at UCF, I used to sit in the room with Mike Kruzak, who was one hell of a coach.
Right.
It was Terry Bradshaw's backup, and I remember how we used to get a little frustrated watching the tape, and, a guy who's a very good offensive coordinator wound up working with Denny Green with the Cardinals, so I learned a lot, just listening to him. And I watched how these young coaches try to show how smart they are.
Mm-hmm.
And, here it is, fourth and inches on the goal line, and you're running quarterback sneak from the shotgun. I see that so many times. I wonder, what in the heck these coaches are thinking. It's just common sense. And, I have to laugh sometimes because I just think that the coaching isn't as good as it used to be. And I just see a lot of things out there right now that kind of irk me. They're just common sense. And, I just wanted to throw that out at you that, like I said before, that pendulum is all the way to the left to the point now where I don't think people really understand the essence of the game sometimes down the goal line. All right, and, you need quarterback sneak if you get your quarterback underneath the center. Here's another thing, running back in through that without having to lead back.
Right.
All right, I mean, you need somebody in there and stoning the linebacker to create a crease. All right, and then so your running back need to jump over the pile. So, I mean, again, that's a combination of old school stuff, but old school works down there. So I just threw that out at you tonight because I literally was sitting here watching the coach do this twice. Teams driving all the way down the field, and both times they got field goals out of it. It's probably going to cost them the game, and that's just poor coaching.
Well, let's talk.
And that's just someone that lacks experience. And I get to the point now where, like I said before, we have a lot of kids running their mouths who don't have enough experience to be able to say it in the first place. And you just sit back, and then when they get into the league, or they get into a situation, they expose themselves.
Right.
And and for me, I just have to laugh sometimes. This is the head coach of a college team, and I would sit there and go, "That's just common. That's football 101." And I see these kind of mistakes from time to time, and I just think that it's gotten to the point now where players are all about trying to, I think one of the great, we were talking the other night about the Dreads, the kid from Penn State.
Right.
I thought this was real interesting. One of my buddies, we were talking about this because he listened to the show.
Uh-huh.
And we were talking, and, all the kids are, blowing up about this, that, and then, I know the guy that wrote the letter about this player was an idiot, but that kind of thing, and they want to put racial overtones on it. But remember what I always told you, it's about the monetary thing?
Right.
And I will tell you this, there's not one player in the National Football League that wears dreadlocks that's got any marketing deals. Do you know why?
Why?
Because you can't see the name on the back of the jersey.
That's funny.
The only player out there is Sherman.
Right.
Okay, and but he was a high round draft choice, won a Super Bowl. It's a little bit of an anomaly.
Right.
So one of the things I would tell the kids, look, that's fine if that's what you want to do. You have to adjust today to the environment. You can't sit here and be old school and expect these kids to trust you. You have to kind of evolve with the times. All right, but the reality of it is, I would tell the young man, hey, look, there's, like we talked about, you could be horse collared if those dreads are extremely long.
Right.
All right, I happen to think they look good. You can get horse collared. You can be dragged down from behind when you're going in for the winning score.
Right.
But remember one thing too: if you're trying to create a name for yourself, people need to see the name on the back of the jersey.
That's funny.
They can't see it when it's covered up with dreads.
That's funny. Well,
then, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And then it's do it.
Right, right. So I've got a question for you that I looked at earlier today. The Miami Dolphins are going back to Ryan Fitzpatrick and benching Josh Rosen this weekend. They can't make up their mind who's going to start week to week. To me, that's absurd. I don't understand the logic behind that one.
You can win a Super Bowl with Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback.
Right.
But you've got to have him playing for a team like the Ravens, where they got a good defense, all right, and you can run the football. Hell, the Ravens did it with Trent Dilfer. All right, a guy that can manage the game and not get it over with. Then he has some really good games. But I love, there's a bias, and I hate to say this, okay, and this irks me, and it puts a chip on my shoulder all the time. The fact that the guy's from Harvard, is an Ivy League guy, well, he can't possibly be as good as a guy from, let's say, Florida State or this or that. And, I don't get into all that because, like I told you before, you need two quarterbacks to win a championship.
Right.
But I think the Dolphins made a conscious decision. We drafted this. We traded for this guy. He's the number one pick. Let's see how he does.
Right.
All right? And if Josh Rosen has a good offensive line and a good defense and they can run the football, he can play his way into being a top-tier NFL quarterback. All right? But if you're a young guy and you don't have the support system on the other phases of the game, you don't get to reach your potential, and that's when you bring in a veteran who's been through this drill before.
Right.
I have to laugh. I think Fitzy should be Deshaun Watson's backup here with the Texans. I don't think he used to play for the Texans. I lived out here when he played. He never played poorly. He never played great, but the poor guy never had any pass protection.
Right.
And, you're just sitting you're watching the guy, doing a really, really good job with not, a lot of support up front.
I mean,
and it's going to be interesting. Deshaun Watson, they lost one of their Tyron draft choices.
Yeah,
So Deshaun's playing really well right now, but it's going to go right back to the gun. You got to have to put a guy in there that may not have any experience. We're right back to where we were last year. It's like Tyus Howard's out for the year.
Well, you talk about coaching being so bad, and I'll say this again, Bill.
I didn't say it's so bad. It's just not as good as it used to be.
Well, I'll say it's so bad, and I'll put the words in my mouth, okay, instead of yours, okay? It is bad, and especially when it comes to Miami, because in my opinion, Josh Rosen should be in every single game unless the guy gets hurt, because you need to find out what you have. If you're going to go down, you go down, okay? If you're going to get Tua, which they're obviously thinking about doing anyways, let the kid play. Because you know what? Next year, if you get Tua and Rosen has some experience, Bill, he's still a viable backup and you can still get something out of him. That's what I think.
Right, well,
I'll say it is bad.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's
Go
right.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
okay.
breaking up a little bit. Go ahead.
That's right. I'll say it is bad. I mean, a lot of times you have a lot of bad coaching out there, worse than it's ever been. I think. Go ahead.
Well, I think the media has a lot to do with hyping things, entertainment, and that kind of stuff. So, all I can say is, right now, the Dolphins need to get their act together because, it's going to be tough. And I don't think anything's going to change down there, even if they get, the kid from Alabama. And I'm not sure that he's going to be the top pick in the draft. Okay? It's a long season. All right, we're going to see how that kid does when he starts getting a sticky Sam blitz at him.
Yeah.
Okay? He's got to move around the pocket. And then, and I think when he played against Clemson last year, all right, he got hurt. You have to understand he's a young kid. Okay?
Right.
Once they get into the National Football League, it may take him a couple of years to develop. Deshaun Watson has developed, but he got hurt his first year.
Right.
Just dropping back to throw. So, you can't just put a young kid in there at the controls.
Right.
And expect him to run an NFL team. Sometimes some of these guys need some seasoning, need some time to get in there. And this business of throwing a quarterback in there and expecting him to turn the franchise around is just stupid. It's not going to happen.
Well, first of all, okay, you talk about L.A. being a